Get started. I am telling you, you will kick yourself in the butt once you get started and you realize it's not as hard as you thought it was going to be. Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining in on episode 2 of the Reseller Hustle. My name is Amanda, aka Tuition Ain't Cheap. I am on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. If you don't follow me on my other social media platforms, I do put out daily information and daily updates on my reselling on my other social media platforms. So give me a follow over there if you don't already. Today's episode is all about getting started. Whether it's getting started on eBay or if you're thinking about joining Mercari or Poshmark or Etsy or any other reselling platform, that's what this episode is about. My name is Amanda. I've been reselling since 2002. So for quite a bit of time, and I feel like I have restarted on eBay 3 times in the last 20 something years that I have been reselling. Out of all of the time that I've been selling, now is the easiest time to become an eBay reseller or a reseller in general. There hasn't been an easier time to find inventory. Is there more competition? Yes, but we all walk around with a small computer in our phone that can figure out any problem for us at any time. Now, obviously, starting anything new can be scary, and I hate to use the word scary because I know when I start something new, I'm a little nervous. Just like this podcast, I was really nervous, and in my head, I made this harder than what it was going to be. I was over researching, I was overlooking into things, which is totally not my personality. Usually I just jump into something and just wing it and we'll see what happens. I think that's why I procrastinated on starting this podcast, because I was looking too far into things and making them way more difficult than what I needed to. And that might be going on with you and why you have not started selling on eBay. I did not realize how many of my followers do not actually sell on eBay until recently. Honestly, until after putting out my first podcast, I had so many comments, so many great comments, people telling me how much I have helped them or how I've motivated them or how I'm giving them the confidence to possibly start reselling. I was really shocked that so many of you don't already sell. I mean, I love it that you guys follow me and you don't even sell on eBay, but get started. I am telling you, you will kick yourself in the butt once you get started and you realize it's not as hard as you thought it was going to be. Now, with that being said, yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, you will make a shipping mistake. Guaranteed. You're brand new. You're just starting out on eBay. You're going to make a mistake on shipping. I still make mistakes on shipping. I did that a couple weeks ago. I accidentally put a shipping service on something and it couldn't be shipped that service. And I know it can't be shipped using that service, but for some reason, when I made my listing, I overlooked it and I had to pay for shipping. No big deal. Whatever, you live and you learn. But when you first start out, it will be a big deal because you won't be selling a lot and you're going to have to come out of your pocket. It will happen. It's okay to make a mistake. You will learn from it and you will never make that mistake again. Case in point, this is only the second time I have recorded for this podcast. I recorded my basement as of right now, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Anyway, so I recorded my basement right now. I wasn't even thinking. I started a load of laundry before I came down here to start recording. So now every time the washing machine drains and there's water whooshing down the pipes, I have to stop talking. If not, that noise will be in the background of this podcast. Lesson learned, I will never start the dishwasher or the washing machine before I start recording for my podcast. Whenever you start something new, you're gonna do something wrong and you're gonna learn from it. As long as you learn from it and you don't do it again, it's really not that serious. It's been a while. I have mixed up shipments. Let's say somebody ordered shampoo from me and somebody else ordered a perfume, and I shipped the person who ordered the perfume the shampoo and the person who ordered the shampoo the perfume. You will make that mistake. Everybody has made that mistake. Again, I've done that recently, this year, actually. I'm pretty sure I made that mistake. And at first, when you get that message and the person with the perfume tells you they got the shampoo, you will get this feeling in the pit of your stomach like it's the worst day of your life. And I think it just comes with personality or experience. I don't know. But again, I get that feeling in the pit of my stomach. And then I tell myself, Like, I am a human being. This is real life. There are people who have way more serious problems than I do. If I end up with a bad feedback or an upset customer, obviously I'm going to do everything in my realm that I can do to make these people happy. But there are just some people that no matter, you could jump through hoops for people. There are just some people that you will never make happy. And it's best just to not let it ruin your day, not let it ruin your eBay experience, and move on. If something happens and you end up with a lower feedback, because not everybody leaves feedback, it's very hard to grow your feedback on eBay. But if somebody finds the slightest reason to be unhappy with the item that they purchased from you, those are the people who are more likely to leave a feedback than somebody who had a positive experience. My main eBay, I think I only have 1,600 feedback, and I sold close to that just in 2024. And that account has been open since 2018. I have probably sold, I don't know, somewhere around 5,000 items on that account, and I have 1,600 feedbacks. So if this happens to you, you end up with a lower feedback, don't let it get to you. Keep listing, keep selling. There are people out there who just buy without looking at feedback. I never look at somebody's feedback when I buy something on eBay. I wanted a Stanley lunchbox for my daughter's boyfriend for Christmas, and they were sold out on Stanley's website. I went to eBay. I overpaid for it because that's the name of the game. I paid more than retail, and I didn't look at the person's feedback. I found the black lunchbox I wanted. I purchased it. I get it. I go to leave them feedback, and they have like a 92% feedback. Some people would have never purchased from them, but there are also other people who will purchase from people with lower feedbacks if you have what they want. So when you're starting out, if you end up with a lower feedback, do not let it get to you. The theme for today's podcast is don't overinvest in eBay or Mercari or Poshmark, wherever you plan on starting. Don't overinvest. The number one thing I recommend, start at home. You would be very surprised what you have around the house that will resell. A couple weeks ago, actually it was before Christmas, I was at my mom and dad's house, and my mom and dad moved like 4 years ago. And my mom had some lotion. She was like, I have lotions underneath the sink. I moved them from house to house, and I haven't used them in years. And she was like, I need you to look at these, see if they're going to sell. So we looked them up. They definitely were going to sell. We sold them on Mercari because they were used. And they sold overnight. My mom made like, actually, I think I still need to Venmo her the rest of her sales. Now that I say that, I'm going to have to check my Venmo and make sure I Venmoed my mom all her money. But she sold, oh man, I want to say it was like $110 worth of stuff. I know she sold 2 lotions for $40 a piece. And then some body spray. She sold some body sprays as well. And I feel really bad. I'm going to have to check my Venmo. I might have like cheated my mom. So items like that, you would be so surprised. eBay has a barcode feature in the search bar. There's like a little camera in the search bar. You click on that, you can search. I don't recommend searching eBay with a picture. It's kind of, the results can be kind of iffy. You can give it a try if you'd like, see if you like it. I don't. Personally, I use Google. If you have stuff around the house and it has a barcode, you can scan it with that eBay scanner just to get a general idea to see what it's selling for or what it's listed for. Not everybody lists their items with the barcode feature. I don't always recommend it, but it's a great way just to check things really quickly. So areas around the house that I would recommend you start with is under the sinks for sure, just because of what I do. Any perfumes you don't use anymore. This is what I specialize in, is discontinued items, and I didn't even think to look up my perfumes until I was home alone a couple weeks ago. I found 2 perfumes that I can sell from underneath my sink for $140, I think it was. Start there. Start in your bathroom, start in your laundry room, underneath the sink, and then of course clothing. Clothing is going to be a little bit of a slower seller depending on what you have. Some pieces obviously will sell quicker. There's always exceptions to the rule, but start with that. Start with toys that your kids don't use anymore. I started selling my kids' toys on Mercari long time ago. I remember I found the elephant game. I don't know if you guys remember that one. It's like an elephant, and its trunk has a little motor, and the trunk fills with air, blows butterflies out of the trunk. Super fun game. My girls played with that for forever when they were little. That was like their favorite toy. I found it, and I decided to look it up one day, and they were selling for like $35. So I sold that. And that's how I got into selling their toys when they were little. If you got Legos around the house, Legos sell really well. Clothing, shoes. My oldest daughter, she was really into basketball. She had a pair of shoes for Tuesday practice, Thursday practice, 2 pairs of game shoes, 4 pairs of travel basketball shoes. She still has basketball shoes coming out of her ears. We sold 1 pair for her last year for like $145. So check out the shoes that you don't wear anymore. You would be so surprised at what sells on eBay. Don't ever just throw something out without looking it up. Now, as far as supplies, I highly recommend you get a scale. I think a scale is the #1 tool you need to be a successful reseller. The last thing you want to do is underpay or overpay for shipping because you aren't weighing your items and you're just guesstimating. You could be costing yourself a lot of money, and shipping is the #1 place where most new resellers make a mistake, especially on eBay. Poshmark is obviously the easiest platform, but even there, you want to make sure your item is under 5 pounds so that you're not paying the upgraded shipping fee. Unless you're selling your item for a lot of money and you don't mind paying that fee. But a lot of people don't realize when they start on Poshmark that your items need to weigh under 5 pounds in order to qualify for that flat rate shipping. And you, as the seller, will be paying for the upgraded shipping label and some type of measuring tape or yardstick, something to measure your boxes with, because measurements are going to affect your shipping price way before the weight will. So you want to make sure you're putting in the right dimensions for your box. Especially with AI technology now, the post office is going to be catching on easier and easier if you aren't putting the right dimensions and weight on your shipments, and then they just take the money right from your eBay account. And sometimes they're wrong. I just had one on my second eBay account and they charged me an extra $1.26 saying that didn't use the shipping service that I paid for, and it shows what I paid for and what I used, and they both say ground advantage. So I had to click a link and do like a little dispute. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I get my $1.26 back. We'll see. So if you notice those extra charges on your eBay account, make sure you're looking at them to make sure that they are correct. Sometimes they're wrong. Now, staying on theme with shipping and supplies that you need, if you are selling items that can be shipped in a poly mailer, I recommend buying some poly mailers on Amazon. Medtronics are the only poly mailers that I use. That's the brand. I use I believe it's 14.5 by 19, and I don't buy multiple sizes. I cut mine in half. I don't buy padded poly mailers. I use bubble wrap. I get my bubble wrap at Sam's Club. That's the cheapest place I've been able to find it. Some people will say American Bubble Boy. Sam's Club will put their bubble wrap on sale quite often, and I just stock up. The last time, I think it was on sale for like $12.99 or $13.99. I bought 5 rolls. Those 5 rolls will probably last me all year. I don't sell too many items that need bubble wrap, and the items that I do sell that need bubble wrap, usually it's like 1 or 2 squares. The brown packing paper that I use, I highly recommend that. That's a lot of times that's how items get damaged during shipment, is they're moving around too much in the box. That brown paper kind of stabilizes items, keeps them where they should be in the box. I buy that at Home Depot, and I believe I pay $3.38 a roll. I buy 8 rolls at a time to get that cheaper price. But if you're not selling very much, go buy 1 roll. Don't overinvest. Don't overbuy. Now, I just started investing in boxes. I have been selling on eBay since 2002, and I have maybe purchased about 30 boxes. And usually it's just for really big items that I just don't have the correct box for. I need to go purchase a box. But I just recently started buying my 6x6x6 boxes, and that's because majority of the items that I sell fit into those boxes, and I was spending way too much time making those boxes. All of my other boxes I get at Menards, and if you live near Menards, I highly recommend this. They restock. I'd say don't go on a Monday. I've gone on a Monday a couple of times, and what I notice is there's only like 1 or 2 people restocking, and the managers are on their little iPads in the aisleways, so they must be deciding what pallets need to be pulled or something. I don't know, but there's not too much restocking going on. I recommend going Tuesday through Thursday, probably. I've never been on a Friday, so I can't speak on a Friday, but Tuesday through Thursday, I've always had great luck. They only do this from 6 in the morning till 8 in the morning. I like to be there around 7 a.m. and I just walk into the store, grab a cart, and they have these big gray bins around the perimeter of the store, and then one in the main aisle of the store. And they're all full of the boxes that they're breaking down from their restocking. I'll just go in and get whatever boxes I need. Now, I started buying the smaller boxes because those are the hardest boxes to find for me. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, go here, go here. This is a great place to get those boxes. I worked 28 hours in 2 days between social media and eBay. I don't have the time to run around town to get boxes. For me, spending the $32 I spent to get 100 6x6x6 boxes at one time makes sense for my business, for me to invest in those items, because I am saving myself so much time on shipping that I can use that time to make money and make myself more than $32. I've cut my shipping time down drastically by investing in those boxes. So it's really important to realize when you should and shouldn't invest in your business. And I would definitely say if you're just starting out, now is not the time to invest. Just wait. USPS and UPS, they do offer free boxes. UPS, their boxes, you can only order so many. USPS, you can order as many as you would like. The only time you can use those boxes from the post office that you get for free is when you're using priority mail service. Just because you're shipping with the post office, you cannot use those boxes. It can only be when you use priority mail service. Now, on my eBay listings, I offer 2 shipping options. I offer ground and I offer priority. And 99.9% of the time, people pay for ground. It's really rare for me to ship something priority mail. I'd say out of every 100 sales, I ship 2 priority mail. And most of the time, it's something like some flatware that I offered priority flat rate shipping on because they're super heavy and I can ship them in a flat rate mailer. So that's the other thing too. Don't get on the post office's website and order yourself a ton of boxes from the post office just because they are free. You also have to think about storage. Where are you going to put all those boxes? And the last thing you want to do is have a ton of boxes taking up space that are going to take you forever to use, or you're never going to use them. I'd say the most popular sizes that I use are the shoebox, the bigger one, I believe it's 12 by 12 by 8, and the mailers that they offer, whether it's flat rate or just the regular Tyvek mailers. I've never used a flat rate shipping box ever in 20 something years. I have so many friends and family that save boxes for me. Whenever I go see my grandpa, he always has boxes for me. I go see my aunt and uncle, they have boxes for me. My parents, my sisters, everybody saves their boxes for me. So ask people to save boxes for you. If you notice your neighbor gets a ton of Amazon packages a day, talk to your neighbor. Do not pay for boxes. I always save the little Amazon bubble mailers and I'll mail my stuff in that as well. It doesn't matter that it says Amazon on it or it says something on the outside. I know some people spend the time to flip their boxes the other way because it looks more professional. I don't. I will ship you a set of sheets in a Lifesaver box all day long. So I run my eBay business and my social media all from my phone. I have a $300 Acer computer that I bought during the pandemic, and the only time I use that is when I plan on taking my packages to the post office, and I use bulk shipping on eBay so that when I print all my labels, they print it one time and I get a scan sheet, little tiny sheet. They can scan that and all of my packages scan in at the same time so they don't have to scan in each individual item. But if you don't plan on using bulk shipping, you do not need a computer to run an eBay business. Now, at certain times, there are certain features you want to use and you can only do that on a computer. You can make your eBay browser into a computer view to do that. Is it harder? Yes, because it's so much smaller, but you can definitely run everything from your phone. Personally, I like to look at my eBay Seller Hub on my computer just because I see way more information. I know there's some people out there who didn't know about like being a below rated seller or if they were close to it or if they were one because they run everything from their phone. So there are some downfalls to only using your phone, but it is possible. If you go to ebay.com on an internet browser on your phone, so I have an iPhone, so if I go on it on Safari, scroll all the way to the bottom, click Classic View, that will turn your mobile view of the ebay.com into the classic computer view. And most of the features are there. You don't need a fancy camera. I use my iPhone. When it comes to listing, I do all of that in my eBay app on my phone. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need to import pictures. You don't need to make this harder than what it already is. Now, when it comes to shipping, I recommend that you never pay for your shipping at the post office. You will be losing money. You will be overpaying for shipping. Do you need a label printer? No. I don't recommend you invest in a label printer until you notice it is taking you way too much time to print and cut and tape your labels on, or you're spending too much money in ink. Wait until you're getting those regular sales. Now, label printers are a lot cheaper than what they used to be. So you can get a great label printer on eBay for $70. I've had mine. I paid, I think, 60 or 65 for mine. I have had it for 3 or 4 years. It has more than paid for itself. But if you're just getting started, just wait. Just wait until you're making enough money that that label printer will pay for itself in a week. If you're only having 1 to 2 sales a week or less than that, or better yet, you haven't even started listing, do not go out and buy that label printer. Just wait. You will get there. It will happen, but just wait. Now, let's say you don't have a printer at all. You don't need a printer to sell on eBay. You can generate the shipping label after your item sells, and eBay will provide you with a QR code, and you can take that to the post office. They will scan it, and they will print the label for you, so you don't have to use any of your own supplies, because the post office will print the label for you, which is a great option for hobby sellers. Maybe you're just doing this part-time, or again, maybe you're just getting started. You're only having a couple sales a week. You don't want to spend the money on ink to ship or tape. Make that QR code, take it to the post office. They will print the label for you. So basically, just don't overinvest. Don't go out and buy a ton of inventory. Don't go buy a ton of boxes before you even know how much you're going to be selling. Don't go buy a bunch of equipment. People have been selling on eBay without a ring light, without backdrops, without a high-tech camera. You probably have everything that you need to start reselling on eBay right now inside of your home. And quit putting it off. Just start. Don't overthink it. If you can fill out an online form, you can list an item on eBay. I do agree shipping is the most difficult aspect when it comes to reselling, and it's the most intimidating. There is so much free information out there. There's a YouTube video on everything. You could probably ask ChatGPT what the measurements should be on one of your items for your eBay listing, and they will probably give you the correct information. Is it time consuming? Yes, but would it be correct information? For sure. Everybody starts somewhere, and if you keep putting off starting, you could potentially be holding yourself back on making a ton of money. Jumping back at the beginning, I mentioned about how you are going to have issues. There are going to be bad things that happen. That's just how it goes. Now, my last podcast, I spoke on my feedback. I have a 98.1% feedback, which in the reseller world is a low feedback. And you will get buyers who don't read. They don't read the descriptions. They don't look at the photos. They just make up in their own mind what they think they're buying. And then when they get it, they're unhappy and they will leave a bad feedback, or they'll send you a nasty message. And knowing how to deal with that can be a little difficult. So on my secondary account, I just shared this, I think, just on my Facebook today. I had a woman purchase a cleaner that was 50% full. It's in my title that the bottle's 50% full. It's in my description. And then the pictures. Let's talk about the pictures. The bottle is clear and the cleaner is green. So it is obvious the fill level in the pictures. You can clearly see the bottle's half full. Even if you didn't read the title and the description and you just looked at the pictures, because that's what most people do, you would clearly see that this bottle was half full. I don't log into that account unless I have a message or I sell an item. I check my email every day, so I can see that in my email. So that's the only time I log into that account. Well, I have had the best week on that account that I have had since I opened it years ago. So I had to ship some items yesterday. I log in, I click on one of my items, and I notice it says I have an 88% feedback, and my heart drops. That feeling that I mentioned to you guys, I got that feeling, and I was like, oh my God, like, why is my feedback so bad? I check, and the negative feedback I received, it said something like, to the buyer. So I meant to say to the seller, not the buyer. So mind you, instead of sending me a message, this is how they're contacting me. To the buyer, I received my item, and I'm so disappointed. It wasn't sealed, and the bottle was only 50% full. I paid $77 for this. I want some money back. And then they put their first and last name. You guys, I can't make this stuff up. Make a social media account and start selling on eBay, and you will learn things and see things from people that you just did not think were possible. So right away, I'm like heated. I could feel it. I just couldn't believe it, because how? So I messaged her and I said, I'm not too sure why you left me negative feedback. Did you not read the description? or look at any of the photos. And so she must have decided at that point that it was a good idea to look at the photos or read the title. And so she messages me back and she said, well, I guess you should have charged me half then. That was her response. I messaged her back and I told her that I did, that this item sells for $135 brand new, and I didn't charge her anything. It was her choice to purchase because she had all the information she needed between the description, the title, the picture. It was all there for her to choose to purchase or not. And then her response to that was, well, this item must be more expensive than what it used to because I used to be able to buy a gallon of this for $50. I didn't even know what to say to that. So I just told her, I'll send a feedback revision because clearly you received exactly what you ordered. And she didn't respond. I jumped on Facebook. If you ever have an issue with eBay, don't call eBay. The reps, 90% of the time, they don't know what they're talking about. This is what makes it a little bit difficult. I highly recommend you have an issue, get on Facebook, go to eBay, the main eBay with the blue Meta verified check, message them, they will help you if eBay plans to help you. A rep will just give you some type of lie and you'll end up with a ding on your account. Contact eBay on Facebook. So I messaged them, they got back to me within 2 hours. It's like 11:30 last night. What they do is they send you a link. You have to log into eBay on that link so that they can then access your eBay account and they can read everything. So they did that. She messaged me back, told me that they were going to remove the feedback for me. I am shocked. So shocked. And I don't know if it's because maybe she put her first and last name. That's why they removed it.
Or it could have been because she asked for a partial refund in the feedback.
Because eBay does not remove feedback anymore. It's very difficult to get feedback removed. I don't know what policy that would have violated other than her putting her first and last name. I think that might be an issue, but they removed it for me. But I had an 88% feedback all week, and I had the best week ever on that account. So if you run into an issue, if something happens, you end up with a lower feedback, don't feel discouraged. Don't feel like people won't buy from you. Again, my 98.1% feedback is considered low in the reseller community. There are buyers out there who just want to purchase what they want. They don't care about your feedback. So don't let that discourage you. I sold 6 figures last year with a 98.1% feedback. Whenever I talk about that on social media, I always have people comment, I would never buy from someone who doesn't have a 100% feedback. Good. Don't buy from me. I don't like to deal with uptight buyers because those are usually the most problematic. Somebody is asking you way too many questions before they've even purchased something. Block them. Guaranteed, it's going to be an issue. I know I get so many comments when I share an issue that I've had. Honestly, I don't like sharing when I have problems selling on my eBay account, on my social media, because I hate to discourage people. It's like a double-edged sword because I want to show both sides of reselling, but at the same time, I don't want to discourage people from starting. I had somebody lie to open up a return a couple weeks ago, and I shared that on my Facebook, and I had somebody comment, this is why I'm so afraid to start. I sold 6 figures last year. I made a lot of money reselling. If I let one bad experience hold me back, I would have never made the money that I made last year. And just like feedback, most people are going to share the bad experiences. If you're part of any of these reseller groups on Facebook, you will see every day people getting scammed, sellers getting scammed on eBay. And most of them are posting it looking for help, or I'm part of this group called Block Bidders on eBay, and people share usernames for bad eBay buyers who scam them. One that I had seen the other day, this lady sold a leather coat to this man. He claimed it didn't fit. He returned it to her. She got it. He had put it through the washing machine. And people see stories like that and it discourages them from getting started because they're afraid that's going to happen to them. And I guarantee it is going to happen to you. You are going to get somebody like that. If you start selling on eBay, somebody's going to try to scam you. Somebody's going to lie, say item not received. Something is going to happen. But if you let it stop you before you even get started, you could be holding yourself back from something that could be amazing for your family. It could change your life around. Here's my best one from 2024 for you guys, and then I'm going to end this one. Okay, so about the podcast really quick, I will be changing to an offset location as long as this thing does what I hope it does. I decided not to overinvest in this. You know, you watch podcasts and people have these great setups and super high-tech stuff and it's top-notch, and I'm working with what I have. I'm recording on my phone. I put this microphone on my Amazon list, and my sister bought it for me for Christmas. I bought an adapter to adapt it to my phone, and that's it. That's the only thing I purchased to get this started. Why? Because I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if this is going to be a success, or if it's going to not work out and I'm spending too much time on it and it's taking away from my other streams of income. I just don't know. So I did not overinvest in this, but I'm hoping in a month I will know whether or not I should, and I will no longer be recording at home. I will be at a different location. I'll keep you guys updated. So back to my story, my best scammer story of 2024, and I got the best of her. I usually get the best of them because it takes all types of personalities to make the world go round. So usually when somebody sends me a message and I know they're lying and I know they're trying to get over on me, I hit them with the IC3 mail fraud report. Whenever somebody tries to do something like that, they claim that they got something different and you know you sent the right item, it's considered mail fraud. IC3 report is kind of like an internet mail fraud thing. I really don't know the ins and outs. This is something that I learned on Facebook from all the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, so I always use it. I don't really know if I could do it, but it usually works on people. Okay, so this lady bought two, and if you follow me on social media, I think I posted this on Instagram and Facebook. I'm most active on my Facebook because I'm a millennial. That's what my children say, that I'm old, so Facebook is my main social media platform. Okay, I sell, it was either 2 Lancome or 2 Estee Lauder body gels, body washes. And lucky for me, they were included in a what sold on eBay video. And I also made a packing video that day, so I recorded myself packaging these items up. I get a message from the lady and she says that she is so irate. Like, her message was level 10 to begin with. She was super upset. I had scammed her. I mailed her a used lotion that was 1 ounce when she ordered 2 3-ounce shower gels for me. She was so disgusted. She was so mad. And what was I going to do before she left feedback? First of all, it's called feedback extortion. Nobody can demand something from you and mention that they're going to leave negative feedback. Once they mention feedback and they're being demanding, trying to get something from you, that's considered feedback extortion. So I go to my videos and I screenshot where in both of her shower gels are in my hand and I'm taking the video. So I screenshot the video of both the shower gels in my hand, and then I screenshot a couple of different shots of me bubble wrapping the items together and then putting them in the box. And I send her that message and I tell her that I make social media content, and I most definitely sent her 2 shower gels. But if she wanted to go ahead and open the case with eBay, we could do that. I would be filing a mail fraud report and something local with her police department. Which I always say that to people. Will I actually do it? No, that's a waste of my time. My time could be better spent somewhere else. I'll just go ahead and refund the money because eBay would make me accept the return. I would get the item back. Obviously, I'm not going to get the same item back. So then I would have to file something with eBay. Then they would probably refund me after I did that. Sometimes they make you fill out an affidavit. Like, it's a lot of work, but you can get your money back. So I sent her the message, tell her, I'm going to file all the reports, send her the pictures. She messages me back instantly. She says, "I'm so sorry. I had you confused with another buyer. I purchased shower gel from somebody else as well, and they didn't send me what I ordered." Sure. You just tried to scam the wrong person, and luckily I make these videos, so I had proof. Now, would eBay ever look at those pictures or videos? Never. They mean nothing. But to her, it was enough to frighten her into realizing that she couldn't scam me. And everything was fine. She didn't leave me negative feedback. She didn't open a case, nothing like that. But she was definitely going to be a problem for me had I been passive, first of all. I think even without the pictures, me just being assertive with most people kind of makes them realize that, okay, maybe I can't get away with it this time. Because that's always my response. I always go, again, with the IC3 and the police report all the time. And it has always worked for me every single time. I might have to do that 3 times a year. So out of I don't even know how many items I sell. I might be totally off. I don't know, at least 1,000. I might get, out of all those items I sell, I might get a handful of these a year, and maybe one I end up actually having to refund. But I'm going to go ahead and end this one. I need to get going to my grandpa's house. I haven't seen him all week because it's been so cold. So I'm going to go visit with him. But my next episode is going to be all about how to know what sells on eBay, figuring out sell-through rate, the crazy weird items that I pick up to sell, why I pick them up, why I look them up, things you should look for, just a couple of pointers. I did open a new email. I would love for you guys to send me emails about your stories, questions, anything. I would love to start reading emails at the end of every video, and then maybe even dedicating a video here and there, like a bonus video, just answering questions or reading stories, reading emails.
You can email me at resellerhustlepodcast@gmail.com.
Well, send me an email. I'd love to hear from you guys. But thank you so much for joining in on another episode. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you in a couple of days.